Now, where we left off, Onyeka and Nicole, I think her name is, two girls who have no chance in heck of winning this, are in a big fight, and Colton walks away because he's so bored. I mean, because the producers told him that he had to say he was over it. But I am bored. So at the beginning of the episode, we find Colton on a beach, clearly the same beach as Bachelor in Paradise. I mean, not really, but it looks like it. Yet in a suit, and we never see anybody in a suit in Bachelor in Paradise. Speaking of Bachelor in Paradise, I ordered a bunch of summer clothes today online from ASOS, which is so dumb because, like, I don't need them. I'm pale. My director just told me to gain weight for a role. Like, why do I want fun, cute summer clothes? But I ordered them because they were on sale. But here comes Chris Harrison to the beach to try and save the day. By the way, I get so sick of the word bullying. It's a very serious issue, but I don't like when people misuse it. The Real Housewives used to do it, and now it's on The Bachelor. Maybe it's just on TV. Send them both home. Nobody cares about them. We are finally at a rose ceremony from last week. Thank you, Nick Viall, for setting that precedent. It looks like there's only 7 roses on the table. 3 girls have them, which means we are finally getting down to 10. We don't even need that many, but at least it's something better than what we have now. Apparently only 2 girls are going home. I would send 4 or 5 home right now, and then we can move forward with Colton's actual love life. But that's just me. Colton says the word wife a lot, but I'm not offended by it like I was when Rachel Lindsay said, "Give me that ring" to her. What was his name? Brian? Is his name Brian? Or when, like other people say it. I'm not offended by him. He's keeping Kirpa, the girl with the chin thing going on, and I don't really know, like, there's a story online about what happened. She tells a story, she, hurt her wrist and cut her chin, and I don't remember why. She probably stumbled drunk. I mean, let's be honest. Hallelujah, they're both going home. Onyeka and Nicole. Nicole was crying. Onyeka looks like, "Don't come for me." And he picks Sydney in the back. And there's 3 other girls that should have gone home, but at least it's over. Girls, you did this to yourselves. Or producers did it to you. I mean, let's just acknowledge that that's a possibility. But either way, bon voyage, Godspeed. Okay, I'm going to watch a little bit more. So now it's the next morning, and we have Colton emerging from the ocean. Not in the shower, but still wet, in some sort of sponsored blue swimsuit. I actually don't hate it. And he has a little pudge going on in the tummy. Somebody's eating something. After what I assume was a travel day, we've now woken up in Vietnam. And I think the girls at this point are probably just getting really tired of being like, "Oh my God, look at it," when they enter their new Airbnb for the 10th time. So Sydney just says there's 2 weeks till hometown. So I don't know if that means 2 TV weeks, 14 days. I don't know what that means. And half of the girls, 5 of the 10 of them, have not had a one-on-one date with Colton. I don't even think he knows Kirpa's name. I think producers have to tell him. So Hannah G, who is the blonde that kind of doesn't look like all the other blondes, gets her first one-on-one. But if we remember, she got the first impression rose. So we see them. We don't even see them say hello. We just see them making out on a bridge somewhere. That's how the date starts. Colton uses the word stunning to describe Hannah G. I mean, she's cute. She's just a little different looking. When I think stunning, I mean, I live in pageant land. So, stunning to me means, girl, you better be a 10. So they're getting a couples massage, and the women, applying the stuff to them and doing the massage and all that remind me of the episode of Sex and the City where Samantha sleeps with the guy who has a butler, and she, throws her out of the sheets and sees the wrapper and yells. So I can deal with the pun of being all wrapped. They're wrapped up in these big, I was going to say pine. What are a palm tree leaf? It's late. These big palm tree leaves. And he was like, "Oh, I'd love to get all wrapped up with you. I can get that." But then when he says, "I would definitely eat that sushi roll." So Hannah G basically starts massaging Colton at some point. And then she rolls on top of him. And he goes, "I can feel your heartbeat." Colton, I bet she can feel more than that, honey. Girl. Good thing there ain't no camera angle down there. Girl, Hannah G starts talking about taking advantage of an overnight. That's a couple weeks away, honey. But we see him making out in the wet mud, waking up in the big leaves, making out in the shower. She mounts him a little. Girl, she easy. So now Kaylin says something about how Hannah G has relied on her beauty her whole life. Kaylin is the most gorgeous girl on the show. Is Hannah G a stunning movie star, Angelina Jolie kind of person? I do not see it. And I also do not want producers to start So Colton's shirt for the night part of the date is either like black or navy blue with little white dots all over it, and it looks like they're kind of twinkling lights, but not in a good way. Like in a "are you moving or are you not moving? I need to figure this out and stop freaking with my brain" kind of way. So Hannah G got a rose from her date. We've moved on to the group date. I fell asleep already. It's time for bed. I'll finish up tomorrow. Thanks for your patience, y'all. All right, kids, we are back. We are in an actual bedhead situation. My hair is very high right now from some angle of which I slept. It is 11 a.m. and it is time to finish up episode 6. Sorry about last night, but the sleep was real. So I had to go way back because I slept for like 30 minutes of the episode last night and woke up in the middle of the group date. But Hannah G, I think I like Hannah G because she's not your basic beauty, whatever. She does look a little different and she has real life experience and she's not so boring. Apparently Kirpa, minus the chin band-aid, is going to get the one-on-one, and I predict right now that she will be going home before the end of that date. Or that she will be sent home before the end of that date. And other girls are having meltdowns because they didn't get one, but nobody's winning. So the other 8 girls show up to the group date to see Colton in some sort of tunic, sleeveless tank top thing, fighting 2 very small little Vietnamese men in some sort of fake martial arts situation. So, a la the Bachelor Winter Games, which I loved and I wished was returning, they're doing this, like, fighting thing. The girls doing this martial arts fighting thing. And there's the Chris Harrison of Vietnam. There's a Bachelor Vietnam. And here's the Chris Harrison of Vietnam right there next to him. Sydney is fighting Heather and is like, I'm going to do whatever it takes. So, I hope her insurance works in Vietnam. I'm here for that. That was good. So, Heather is just screeching, like, as Sydney beats her up, basically, and they're just, like, running in circles. It has nothing to do with the martial arts they just learned. Absolutely nothing. So Demi and Katie's fight pretty much had to be broken up by a professional because it got a little rough. Yeah, these silly group dates. I don't know, maybe not so effective. So far, the night part of the group date is a lot of girls crying and worrying, and I don't want to go home because they're like, oh, we're down into the top 10, which in a pageant means soon you're cutting to a top 5, which sadly doesn't happen fast enough on these episodes, but they're all stressed about going home soon. Sydney really kind of put Colton on the spot and was like, do you think you can get there with me? Like, do you and I appreciate that, but there wasn't even a kiss, so I feel like she's probably going home, which is a shame because she's so normal in a good way and fierce and beautiful. She reminds me of Elise. She reminds me of that Elise Yumamoto, Miss Washington. How about them apples? Do you remember that? The one who sang, I'm loving angels instead, and through it all, they offer me protect. Okay, it's like morning voice, okay? I'm sorry. Okay, so Demi, first of all, talks about wanting to be, like, calm and soft and sensitive, which isn't her. And second of all, we are about to call Demi's mom, who has gotten out of prison. It's not funny. It's just in the context of the show it is, with Colton, to talk to her mother. It's so awkward. Like, she's like in or just recently out of jail. Oh, I'm sitting here with Colton. How does she know who that is? How does she know you're in Vietnam? Like, how does she know any of this? Did producers call the jail? What has happened here? What is the time difference between Vietnam and wherever Demi's mom is? What is the time difference between Vietnam and mom? That's right. I'm not saying that Demi won't make it to hometowns on her own because she's probably on the bubble of that 4, 5, 6 area where it's like you might make the top 5. We don't know how good your talent was. But if we make it there just to meet her mother, I don't know how I feel. So apparently Sydney is about to confront Colton after the commercial break, which we all know means she's probably going to go home, although her black dress with the lace in the bottom, I am living. It's beautiful. Also, the commercial immediately following that with Tia and Rebel Wilson, fabulous. Sydney is confronting Colton, but I just feel like he deflects a little bit. Like, he's like, I know, people told me I was the Bachelor, and I was expected everything figured out. Like, no, you're not, but don't avoid what she's saying. Like, she needs more. Can you give it to her or not? Be honest. Sydney is choosing to leave. And Colton's like, as much as this upsets me, I'll walk you out. Well, it clearly doesn't upset you that much. You're not fighting for her. If you're not going to fight for it, there's no point. So just let her go and meet someone better. And Sydney, I say this just like my dear, dear CN a year ago. Please don't become some Instagram hoeing, product pushing person. You are smart and beautiful and wonderful. Please just keep being who you are and don't change. I think that most of these girls could not possibly understand the depth of what Sydney is feeling and thinking. Like, you look at the looks on their faces and they're just like, oh, like somebody left. Like, I think there's just no concept. And she told him, don't just look for shiny things. Hannah B and Demi do not have high expectations for Kirpa's date. And on top of that, when she gets to, like, the beach and runs, she, like, awkwardly jumps into Colton's arms. There's no kiss. I don't know if they've ever kissed. Awkward AF. I don't have much to say because Colton and Kirpa's date is so boring. I had to turn the lights on at 1:20 in the afternoon because there's a storm coming and it's getting dark. Colton's like, Kirpa, could you see yourself getting engaged again? Because she's been engaged before at the end of this. And she's like, I mean, if we keep progressing like we are, you're not progressing. This is stupid. I cannot believe Kirpa is getting this rose. And no offense to her, but, like, you're not going to marry this girl. Like, excuse me. So, like, what's the point? Like, I don't think he has any idea what he wants at all. When is he going to start jumping the fences? Literally. So now Demi goes to his room. It's raining. The date's over. Kirpa got the rose. They made out in the rain with the clear umbrella. Now Demi goes to his room and she's like, hopefully after tonight he won't be a virgin anymore. Have we learned nothing from Corinne and Nick Viall? It's not going to happen. Colton is like, come on in. I'm in a white shirt, unbuttoned halfway. Here's a glass of wine. She's in a pink, like, knit t-shirt. Like, why are we watching this, folks? Why? But we will, and we shall soldier on. You know, I was going to leave the house today before rehearsal, but now it just started freaking crazy raining and storming, which means I can sit here in awe of the fact that this backfired for Demi. I actually thought this one would work, and he's about to send her home and thinks he can't get there with her. So Sydney and Demi are gone. Kirpa is still here. What universe is this? And Demi was like, there's girls here who seem like a safe choice. Just, you know, don't settle for the safe choice. Good for you, girl. I think as we head into this rose ceremony, we're down to 8 now with Sydney and Demi leaving, which means what? You're going to get rid of like 1 more, maybe 2 if we're lucky? I don't know. Breaking news. Cassie took her hair off of her face for the cocktail party and the rose ceremony. Very important. We can now see Cassie's face, everybody. This is not a drill. Ooh, there ain't no cocktail party. Ooh. Okay, so this is about to get real. We're going down to 6. We started tonight's episode with like 12 people, and we're about to be down to 6. There's 4 roses on the table. I'm thinking Katie and Heather get cut, and roses go to Cassie, Kaylin. Wait a second. There's 4 and 3 have roses. We're only cutting 1 person. Ugh. So we're either going to cut Katie or Heather, I think. Heather is staying and Katie is going home. So now we get Colton talking to a producer saying, I thought Sydney was talking about Demi. Well, hopefully that didn't influence your decision too much when you're talking about people who aren't ready to get engaged. And when did the show start becoming so much about engagement? It wasn't like that the first several years. Now it's ring, 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 ring. Colton, please also remember that girls are bitter and upset when they're leaving. So they're going to say some stuff about the other girls. Like, that's just part of how this works. It doesn't mean you have to listen. Are you that easily influenced? Everybody throwing shade when they leave in Vietnam. I am really white and I cannot rap, so I don't know why I tried to do this now. Standing in a circle of all the girls, Tayshia looks at Nicole and says, let's take this thing. After Colton was like, I just really need the answers to know who's ready and who's not ready. And she's like, let's take this thing. Or not Nicole, Kirpa. Whatever, same. Let's take this thing. We're going to be the 2 at the end. Yeah, right. So before we cover the coming attractions, the post-coming attraction end of episode clip is Demi showing some purse that somebody made, in jail or something. Colton looks terrified, so was I. The coming attractions kind of look like a wild ride. Of course, in the middle of it, we're going to have the Women Tell All episode, which is always the down week that I might not cover because I just think it's boring. It looks like Hannah B is definitely going to meet Colton's family. Does that happen in hometowns or before? We just don't know. Everybody cries. Crazy things start happening. Colton apparently tells Caitlin he's in love with her. It's a lot going on. I think my prediction for the end is that only one woman comes the final day. Like, I don't think he turns anybody down in that moment. Anyway, y'all, I know I've been a day behind with this recap. That may happen now that I'm in late rehearsals on Monday nights. But thank you for watching and following. And here we are along with this crazy journey, getting closer. Only 7 girls left, and one of them might be Colton's wife.